chasing the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel
Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Football live stream for Start and Sit Week 13 in the NFL. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. That man with me right next to me is the one, the only Andrew Erickson. Of course, it's you, and we're hanging out talking football. So if you got questions, we've got answers. Drop them in the chat. Special shout out to all of you also, all of you subscribers, all of you listeners, watchers of the show on YouTube. We're up to 190,000 subscribers. That is incredible. Just a heartfelt thank you to all of you out there who are subs here at Fantasy Pros. We appreciate you. I know our producer, Chris, who sleeps about 2 hours a night, appreciates you as well. A lot of hard work by Chris, his team, and maybe some hard work for me and Andrew Erickson and Derek Brown and a couple other people too. But our great cast of characters here, just want to say thank you. 190, that's amazing, which means we got to keep going. We need 200,000. I want it. I want to see it by season's end. Can we get there? I don't know. But if not, it's good to have goals. 2023, maybe that's our goal. But Andrew Erickson, let's start with our goals for Week 13. We'll shave down a little bit in terms of looking too far ahead. Leonard Fournette practiced. So that's a thing now. So how do we feel about Rachaad White heading into this week now that Lenny Fournette looks like he might be back and returning to the team?
Don't feel great about starting Rachaad White. It's a bad matchup against the New Orleans Saints. We've seen them basically terrorize Tom Brady in this offense ever since he moved down to Tampa Bay. The offensive line doesn't have Tristan Wirfs. They won't have him, so that's a big major loss. So I would like to think that, they're just going to play the better guy. They're going to lean on the rookie. But we've already seen Tampa Bay do this already this year. Cade Otton, a nice rookie tight end that had a couple of nice games with Cameron Braid out. And what happened when Cameron Braid came back? Oh, they just split up the duties, and now you can't use either guy. So I think it's going to probably be like an ugly committee, even if Rachaad White is like the 1A to Fournette's 1B. Neither guy is going to be running efficiently. I mean, Rachaad White had one big run last week against the Cleveland Browns. Horrible run defense. It basically did nothing after that. So right. I think the Saints are a much tougher defense to run the football on. So if he's splitting reps in any way or capacity, I can't see Rachaad White. I can't see ranking him as a top 20 running back. So that's my concern. And the fact that Fournette's already practicing and it's a Monday night game, I'm trying to find alternatives to Rachaad White. I'm definitely not playing Leonard Fournette.
All right. Well, let's talk about some other guys who had some big runs, about Josh Jacobs, who is dealing with a calf injury. It would not have been surprising to see him as a do not practice on Wednesday just because of the season he's had, just because of the game he had on Sunday. but he was limited. So is that a good sign? So people who have Josh Jacobs and were very worried after the game whether or not they're going to have him this week, is that something where we get a little optimistic about Jacobs' availability for week 13?
Yeah, I think that he'll be good to go. I mean, he was dealing with calf injury last week, and the fact that like they're so fixated on this calf, I'm just imagining him at practice. Like, he's just like he's like in this throne, right, where there's like 4 or 5 of the trainers are working on his calf to make sure that he's like all ready to go for the game. So I think that Josh Jacobs will probably be fine. He was dealing with this last week. He's had injuries pop up during the season, and he's always come through. Even like late injuries added, at the end of the week, he's been fine. So. I don't think he wants the chance to miss out on this Chargers run defense that is absolutely horrible. And he knows he can put up another big game. So, he's playing for a contract right now. Like, he has all the incentive to, like, put me out there. Like, I want to earn as much money as I humanly can. So, I think that he's going to suit up.
Yeah, and for running backs, that window is short. So let's get to the questions again. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Drop them in the chat, but you can't do that unless you're a subscriber of Fantasy Pros. So subscribe today, and you might be lucky enough. You see this man right here on my shirt, the 1-1, Mr. Wide Receiver 1, Justin Jefferson. We're giving away a Justin Jefferson jersey right here on the program. Thanks to our good friends at pristineauction.com. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the stream, click that little thumbs up. That's all you got to do. Drop a question, a comment in the chat, and just like that, you are entered to win. And don't forget to click that little bell till it goes ding for notifications so we can tell you if you did win. And of course, you can understand when all the content comes out here, Fantasy Pros, because we've got so much content. We're a content machine. We're shooting out content every 2 seconds here. Let's get to questions here, and let's start with Paul Hillman. Any update on the San Francisco backfield? I took questions last night on our Discord, Andrew, about this backfield. And I told everybody, if somebody tells you they know what's going on here, they're lying to you. And whatever you see this Sunday isn't necessarily what you're going to see again next week. I don't trust Shanahan. Never have, never will. That's why I drafted Jeffrey Wilson everywhere cheap, because I just have no trust in him. So now that we're in this weird situation here with all these other backs and McCaffrey dealing with this knee thing, it's a cluster. I'm trying to stay away from it. If you had to throw a dart at somebody, though, Andrew, who would you be throwing that dart on? Is it Mason? Is it TDP? Is it Tevin Coleman, dare I say? Let's go. Tevin Coleman season.
Yeah. I mean, Tevin Coleman did, a couple of weeks back, at the beginning of the season, he actually did look semi-decent in the offense, but it's just weird to imagine that he's back.
We are down the stretch.
He is the veteran.
It's a playoff team.
But he is also super injury prone and always gets banged up.
Yes.
So even if, he could be the answer, like you said, like it could be the answer this week, and then next week it's somebody completely different. So I think for me, the long-term view would be Tyrion Davis-Price. Again, he was a guy that they drafted, someone that has the capital with him. Now, how much does that really mean to Kyle Shanahan? I don't know. But TDP, when I look at, okay, who do they want to turn down? Who do they want to turn over the backfield to down the stretch with TDP? And, the way that he's built, he's a bigger running back. And I think that his profile to kind of wear down some defenses is different than a guy like Jordan Mason, than a guy like Tevin Coleman, who Tevin Coleman is going to embrace punishment rather than dish it out, which is what Tyrion Davis-Price can do. So I think that they drafted him as kind of like a finisher back, like someone that hey, it's the fourth quarter, let's feed TDP. I think that he is the guy that I would probably go after. I think that he's probably, at this point, I think he has the most talent of the 3 running backs that you kind of brought up with Coleman and Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason's really been more of a special
there's no doubt
guy.
about that. There's no doubt about that. He's the most talented one. It's just, do we trust the young running back here at this juncture of the season in these big games? That's what I keep coming back to. And that's why I made the joke about Tevin Coleman, but there's a part of me that would not be surprised in the least if Tevin Coleman was the complimentary back, because he's been in the league a while. You just don't want him to fumble or give up the house or anything like that. And putting kids in the situation in a big game here in week 13 look, this is an important game here for San Francisco to beat the Dolphins, not because it's, the conference or anything like that, but they have a shot still, I think, especially if the Eagles drop a game to the Titans this week, to climb up this board. This NFC ain't over yet, boys and girls. Let's go to Raymond Stuber, Gabe Davis or Zay Jones in the PPR. We know Gabe Davis is boom or bust. You want to just take the points with Zay Jones? What do you want to do?
I think it really depends on what your goal is here. I mean, if you're a big underdog, then you probably should go with Gabe Davis and try to shoot for the upside. I mean, that's a conversation with Gabe Davis every single week. I have one team with Gabe Davis and Jacoby Myers, and it's just like every single week I'm like, do I want to shoot for the moon or I want to take 10 points? Like, that's kind of what you're discussing here. So I always try to shoot for the guy with the most upside, and that's going to be Gabe Davis for me. Unless I'm a huge favorite, then I would go with Zay Jones.
Fair enough. Dan Sek, start Jacoby Myers, Gabe Davis, or Alan Lazard. Speak of the devil.
I just don't know how healthy Jacoby Myers is. That's my only concern. So I would
Okay.
go with Gabe Davis.
Okay, not the boring old Alan Lazard, right? We're it's all
No,
Christian
because
Watson
it's
here.
really been trending in the wrong direction for him.
It has last 3 weeks have
Basically
not been good. Yeah.
since Christian Watson has kind of stepped in and he's basically relegated Lazard to number 2 duties, and it's just not a great exciting offense. So yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next question here. We've got Cody Schlott, our good pal Cody is back. Hey, other imaginary football owners, 11-1, one more win, and I clinched the 1 seed. Thanks to these gentlemen here. All right, there you go. Well, thanks to you, Cody. You're doing the work. We're just helping. So, do I start the volume monster Michael Pittman or the risky upside of Gabe Davis in the PPR?
I don't like Michael Pittman's matchup this week. I mean, last week he had the best matchup against one of the worst defenses against wide receivers, and I mean, before the final drive, he was basically doing nothing in that game. Like,
It's
so, like,
middling.
yeah,
That would be the
so
kind way to say it.
he really got there in the final moment for you. So, look, I get Gabe Davis disappointed last week, and that's why people don't want to go back to him. But the Patriots defense gives up a lot of big plays, and they look a lot better when they play the Jets and Zach Wilson. And we saw what they looked like when they played an actual quarterback against Kirk Cousins. And now they're
Yeah,
playing.
I like Davis this week, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
Andrew. I mean, they've got a little bit more, for Buffalo, like they've had a little weird turnaround going back and forth to Detroit and all that, but they've had a nice little break here in the action. They have shellacked the Patriots twice. I mean, if you're Bill Belichick, you're trying to make Stephon Diggs not beat you. I think that's what you're trying to do. I mean, that's typical Belichick stuff. It's like, let's identify the number one weapon, let's take it away. And that's clearly Stephon Diggs. Now, they've gotten their butt handed to him twice in a row here by Buffalo Bills. So I feel much better about Gabe Davis. I think he's a higher floor this week than typically speaking with Gabe Davis. Chris Peterson, Garrett Wilson, or Pickens at the flex in the PPR. Good matchup for Wilson against Minnesota this week. I'm a Pickens fan. I like Pickens, but I think I'm going with Garrett Wilson here. What do you do?
I mean, Garrett Wilson's a top 15 wide receiver in every game that he's not played with
Ooh.
Zach Wilson.
Boy, oh boy, the Mike White love is really
Well,
knows no
it's
bounds.
just the Zach Wilson not love. Basically, it's just when he's not the
Okay.
quarterback, it's
Well,
or Garrett
Mike,
Wilson
in
good.
fairness, Mike White last year had a phenomenal first game, and then let's just say the next game was not good. Now, I want to give him all the credit in the world. I was rooting for Mike White last week. It was a fun thing. Everybody, rah, rah, let's go. I want to bury Zach Wilson. It was a good time. But I guess here's my question when it comes back to this, like the trust factor now to go on the road into Minnesota and win a football game. It's a little bit different for me. I still agree with you, Garrett Wilson, but the top 15 comment, that's a spicy meatball you threw out there, Erickson.
I mean, we know he's really talented. Like, we know the guy can ball out, and he's finally getting more looks and opportunities in the offense. So,
Did you see that meme, by the way, that it looks like Mike White and Zach Wilson looked like Cobra Kai characters who trained at opposing dojos? Have you seen this meme going around? It's hilarious, and they totally do look like that. If you haven't, run to the internet. It's there somewhere. Go pick it up.
Internet.
Open
Open your browser.
Run to the internet. Let's go to our PV PPR pick 2. Christian Watson, Palmer, Gabe Davis. Here we go.
I'll go with Watson and Watson and Gabe Davis.
Watson and Davis. Great Scott! Exclamation point. Bench 2. Cooper, Olave, Kirk, Watson, or Wilson. I am not taking Christian Kirk out this week, so he's in.
No.
What do you want to
I'd
bench?
probably bench. In this case, I'd probably have to bench Olave
and Watson?
Watson, probably. I mean, look, like
That's tough, but yeah, I
mean,
agree.
like the thing with Cooper is he has a. It would not surprise me at all if he just doesn't have a good game, just because we've seen him be not
but
great
it's
on
hard
the road.
to take him out. It's hard to take
Right.
him out, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm not going to take him out, so I would probably just bench Olave and Watson.
I agree. Good problem to have there, Great Scott. Zeke 33, drop Palmer to pick up CMC's backup. You want to do that? I don't.
It depends on what your wide receiver depth is. I mean, if Palmer's like your wide receiver 5, and it's like you're never going to start him. If you're looking ahead to the playoffs, then I think that this is a shoot and a high upside move. But the issue is, it's funny that they mentioned CMC's backup. They didn't actually specify a specific player here because we don't actually know who it is. So look,
I think it's Deontay Foreman. Oh wait, that was in Carolina. Yeah, like it's tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you have wide receiver depth and you're like never going to start Palmer unless like 3 of your guys get hurt, then I think it's fine to take a flyer on TDP or Tevin Coleman.
New future apparel. Who do we start this week? Juju, Slayton, Cooks, or Palmer?
Palmer.
I would start Juju. I know I'm kind of in the minority here. I know last week he was limited, but to me, this is the game everyone's trying to get healthy for. It's Chiefs, it's Bengals, it's high scoring, it's high flying. I would go with Juju here, personally, but I understand where you're coming from as well. David Gallagher need 2 of these 3 in a standard league. Stevenson, Walker, or Mixon. 2 of the 3. Who's the odd man out? You got to play Stevenson, I think, and you got to play Walker. So is Mixon that guy by default?
Well, the issue is Stevenson, like a lot of his value is in, but if Damian Harris is out, I guess it doesn't really matter. And just because so much of his
Stevenson's a monster. Points
Yeah.
are points, yards are yards at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess I would probably sit down Mixon.
Yeah,
Just,
I think
you know,
that's what you got to do.
He's coming
You
off the
don't-
like teams have just been kind of
Right.
weird with guys coming off concussions anyway. P. Ryan's played
Guarded.
well, like
guarded as they should be.
Yeah.
And you know what? One more shot and then he's out again. And
Yeah.
that's not a good scenario too. That's a big risk.
and
El Domo Loco. Yo, flex position PPR, Akers, DPJ, or Deontay Johnson.
oh god, man, Deontay
Well-
Johnson has just fallen so far.
Akers was sick yesterday, so he missed practice with an illness.
He's not even the starting
Uh,
running back on his own team.
I-
I'm not
I
playing
know.
Akers.
I know. To be
I'm not
honest with
playing
you, I
him.
think I might just take a flyer on DPJ and hope for the best here. Because DJ really has not done anything with Kenny Pickett. I'm almost
mean-
rolling the dice here with DPJ.
Yeah, I mean Deontay, it's like he does get a better boost in PPR because he does actually catch a lot of passes, but there's no yardage. He doesn't catch
Mm-mm.
touchdowns.
No yardage,
Um,
no touchdowns, no upside, no nothing.
Yeah, so I'd probably shoot for higher ceiling with DPJ, and it's just we'll see how he does with Watson.
Justin Pearson, it might be a bro moment. Oh boy. Let's see. Is Saquon sittable for Jalen Warren if Najee Harris is out? Bro. We're gonna sit Saquon Barkley for Jalen Warren. Bro, what makes you think Jalen Warren gets everything? Benny Snell's probably gonna be the short yardage first, second down guy, probably the goal line back too. It's not that I don't like Jalen Warren, and I understand the Saquon matchup is bad. Like, I get it. This is where you look at the numbers and you go, oh, this is a bad matchup for Saquon, and it is. But taking him out isn't the answer. It's building a better lineup around him to save Saquon Barkley. I think that's what you want to do here, Andrew. Do you agree or disagree? You sitting Saquon Barkley for Jalen Warren if Najee is out, bro?
No, I don't think so.
Good. At least Justin knew he was going to get broed. So I got respect for you. Mad respect, Justin. You knew you were going to get broed. You asked the question anyway. Fearless. So that was a bro, but a respect at the end. Respect, bro. All right, let's get to Quentin Lewis, D Knox, or Cole Kmet. Who are you starting this week at tight end?
I mean, look, Cole Kmet's going to be the number one receiver for the Bears. Like, there's not many tight ends that you can label
That's
as
true.
he's the number one guy. Like just by default, like he's going to lead the team in targets. He did last week when Darnell Mooney got hurt. And there are 2 tight ends that I can say that about, or 3. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and Cole Kmet will lead their team in targets this week. Like, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Tyrone Carrington, Bills defense or Jets defense? Here we go. This is a tough one here because we're looking for turnovers and looking for sacks and I'm looking for all that. I think you can get to Mac Jones. Ed Oliver's played great on the line. Bogman and I were talking about him on the IDP show yesterday. Milano's coming off a really good game.
No Von
I
Miller,
think-
though.
No Von Miller. Yes, that is true. That is one less
Matters.
piece. I don't know if we have Rousseau back though, too. I haven't seen Rousseau practice report
Yeah.
information. But I will say this. As great as the Jets defense has been, I think this is a tougher test here when you're going on the road. And it's not like you're playing the Bears again. So I don't know, man.
Or the Patriots again.
Or the
Like-
Patriots. Like they haven't played a prolific offense in a
No,
while.
they really haven't played a lot of really like super high octane offenses, which
I'm gonna go Bills here, but I think it's gonna be close regardless. But I would go Bills. How about you?
yeah, I think it's close, but because it is so close, I think I'd probably end up leaning towards the Bills as well. And they play on
Mhm.
Thursday, so that way you get an idea. Like if they, just totally
Also a good
bomb,
point, yeah.
you can adjust your lineup expectations with some of your other pieces versus just waiting for the Jets defense. So I'd just go Bills.
Here's a question from Killa Gorilla. Do I start Brady or Watson this week? I get this question because Brady has been uninspiring and he has struggled against New Orleans. I think if you have nothing to lose here in this game, you play Watson and you have some fun because I think it's that close. But if you have anything to play for, if we playoffs are on the line, it's that must-win territory kind of thing. I still would lean Brady just because I kind of know the devil I'm getting here as opposed to the devil I don't with Watson, how he's going to look, what's going to happen. Watson could be great. He could be terrible. Brady's probably going to be okay. And I think at the end of the day, I'll take the okay as opposed to the unknown. But maybe you see things differently, Andrew. What do you think?
No, I think I see it very similar. I mean, I don't like Brady this week, really. He's been horrible against New Orleans. No Tristan Wirfs, I think, is a big deal. And I just don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to get it done. And Watson is a total wow. I mean, Watson in the ECR is like quarterback 11, which
and Brady's 12, by the way.
I was
They're right back and forth. I thought he would be more like 13 or 14. But I
have them both
too.
I have them both outside my top 15. Like I don't really want to play either of them. Being totally I'd rather play Mike White, honestly, because I just think the Vikings defense is trash.
Because he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. It's Mike White. That's why. Here's another quarterback question from Gregory M. Lamar or Dak? Another two guys that are kind of back to back here. Dak's been really solid here.
I think with Dak is the only reason he hasn't totally smashed in fantasy is because they've just been scoring a lot of rushing touchdowns. But he's been playing really.
Defense is good too.
Yeah, and he's been playing really well.
Score 30 points anymore. I mean, look, Lamar's QB5 on the year for all the shortcomings of the Baltimore offense. Excuse me. They play the Denver Broncos, a good defense this week. They are at home though. I don't know. I mean, I think you still lean Lamar, but I get the question here. I do get it. It seems like Dak is a safer floor.
Well, Lamar has to do the rushing. He has to score a rushing touchdown, because he's still not throwing to anybody. There's still no one to throw the ball to.
Well, there's no one to throw to, basically. So that's
Dak has
the dilemma.
A ton of weapons still, and if the touchdowns just kind of go through the air, not to Ezekiel Elliott on the ground, then Dak's gonna have a monster game. They have a really high implied team total. So I mean, Dallas offense is just cooking right now across all cylinders. So I'm just gonna go with Dak.
Yeah, you know what? The more I think about it, I think Dak is just the safer play. I really do. Yeah. I think, look, Lamar has that upside that Dak doesn't because of the rushing ability. He could pop off a 50-yard touchdown run. But, again, you got to look at your lineup, Gregory, and see what you can. I think Dak, you kind of take the points and get out. It's not a terrible strategy like Andrew's talking about. Nico Wagner must win this week. Please pick 3. Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, Ayuk, Pickens, and Sutton. Keenan Allen is in, yes?
Yes.
CeeDee Lamb is in, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so Ayuk, Pickens, Sutton.
I would probably play Ayuk.
I would agree with you. There you go, Nico. Not so hard. Elizabeth Miranda, Burks or Deontay Johnson in the half PPR. Here we go. Let's go. Half PPR. Who you taking in this group?
Not taking Deontay Johnson in any. If it's not full PPR, he's not even on my radar. So I'm going Burks.
Oh,
I don't care about the matchup. Don't care.
So Burks it is, eh? Tough matchup against Philly. But
he's delivering.
I like Tennessee in this game. I already told you.
I remember you did tell me that.
Let's go, baby. And I put my money where my mouth is every single week. So I'm living and dying with you. That's the thing. I'm, there's a lot of people that don't do this. They give you all these things and stuff that they like, and then they don't do anything. At this guy, I'm in it with you. And it's good, it's good. And if it's bad, I'll be depressed along with you. It'll be fun. Let's take the ride together. Let's hold hands and go over to bettingpros.com. Go check it out. Go subscribe to our Betting Pros channel, probably too. If all those 190,000 of you, go check out Betting Pros because there's a lot of good content there. We're doing Monday night, Thursday night, college football, bowl season's around the corner. You can make some of your money back here. We've got a lot of good stuff going on there. Kyle Miller, Burrow or Herbert this week? Man, it is tough to shy away from Joe Burrow this week against Kansas City with the way those two teams have locked horns, but maybe you see things differently. What do you think about these two QBs? Who would you start?
I 100% starting Joe Burrow, even though I have them ranked back to back.
So does ECR.
the thing with Burrow, I guess the signature stat that I'm looking at for this game is the Kansas City Chiefs they rank 31st in red zone defense. The Bengals rank 2nd in red zone offense. So they're going to score a lot of touchdowns. Could
that be a big day for Hayden Hurst? I'm getting a lot of Hurst question this week too. And I keep telling people, I think Hurst, you play him because you play the total this week. But what you just said to me kind of also piqued my interest. And is that a tight end that is very streamable this week to play?
I think by just looking at, it's a high scoring environment, by just that principle, playing tight ends in games that are high
tight ends in the red zone, typically that's where they're scoring. They're not scoring 60-yard touchdowns unless they're, Travis Kelce or Gronk. That's really, Heyday Gronk, anyway. Let's get to the next question here. Justin Sorge. Hey, guys, I have CMC and up against Josh Jacobs owner. Should I pick up Tyrion Davis-Price as a handcuff or Zamir White to prevent Josh Jacobs? I don't think that Zamir White's going to see the light of day this week. I'd worry about your own house. Tend to your own house first.
Yeah.
Tyrion Davis-Price. Andrew, I can tell, is in agreement with me.
I do think, though, that what you mentioned about Tevin Coleman like makes a lot of, like, if I had to guess, so if they say CMC is not going to play, like, who gets the first snap, I would guess it would be Tevin Coleman. Like, if I had to put money on it, that doesn't mean he's the most productive. That doesn't mean he finishes with the best stat line, but who plays first? I would probably bet that it is Tevin Coleman.
I know it's going to upset a lot of people. And I said it in our little group chat, too, that we were talking because Mayor asked the question about it. And I said, you're going to hate this answer, but it's going to be Tevin Coleman. It's going to be gross. You're going to hate life. You're going to hope it's the rookie. It's not going to be the rookie. You know, it's just, it's week 13. These games really matter. Tevin Coleman's been in the league for, oh God, how long now? I mean, what, 8 years?
And I think the trust factor that you said makes a lot of sense.
It's terrible. It's going to help nobody. It's just going to be a thing.
It's going to help the sharps that are tuning in that pick up Tevin Coleman.
depending on Debo's health, I think you can see Debo work more in that backfield again too, which would be great for his value depending on his health. So if you have Debo, this might be a good week to start Debo because if he gets 5 or 6 carries in that backfield, that's very beneficial potentially for him. You know, put the ball in your playmaker's hands. Let's go to Rolling Stone. I see what he did there. Pollard, Pacheco, or Rachaad White at the flex. I'm starting Tony Pollard. You know me.
Yep. Tony Pollard.
You know me. It's Tony P. Yeah, you know me. Who's down with Tony P? Every last homie. Let's go to Chi-Town. Chris, I love when Chris shakes his head at me. He is like just so, sometimes he's just like, why do I have to work with this guy? Yeah, but Chi-Town, that's what it is. It's Chi-Town. Yeah, Chi-Town. What did I say? Chi-Town? He doesn't know. Well, Chi-Town's where people live who they don't like to go out and talk to other people. But it's Chi-Town. Mike Evans, Devonta Smith, Cortland Sutton need one for the half PPR.
I think Marshall Latimer's going to play, so don't want to play Mike Evans. So I'll play Devonta Smith.
I agree. Josh Barden, give me that jersey, he says. Well, Josh, did you do everything you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
And people might be saying, what jersey? I'll tell you what jersey. Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver on the planet. Wide receiver 1, there it is. Boom. Look at that. Glorious. From pristineauction.com. Go check out Pristine Auction, by the way. A lot of cool stuff there, especially around the holidays. You're looking for gifts for people. Lots of cool things. They got the jerseys, the helmets, all these things. But subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube. Go click that bell for notifications. Drop a comment or question in the chat. And then don't forget to like the stream. You will be automatically entered to win the Justin Jefferson jersey. And no, I cannot win it, unfortunately. I tried, I asked, they said I can't. So what are you going to do? Marlon Cruz, Benny Snell, or Jaylen Warren this week? In PPR, I think you play Warren if Najee's out. But in half and standard, I'm still leaning Benny Snell because I do think he is more of that physical presence in front. Bigger guy than Benny Snell. I mean, bigger guy than Jaylen Warren. I think he gets the early down work and the goal line work, and that's the work I covet in the standard and the half. PPR is a different story. I can understand Jaylen Warren, but he did have a hamstring injury that kept him out. We've seen those linger. We've seen guys re-aggravate them. It's kind of risky, but what do you think? How do you see Snell and Warren if we get the Najee news?
I mean, I still think I just prefer Jaylen Warren basically straight up in every format. I mean, like before this last game, like we hadn't even heard of Benny Snell's name the entire season. Like, well, so I guess I just don't know how relevant he'll be. I mean, they seem so like excited about getting Jaylen Warren more involved, even when Najee was healthy. And so I think that Warren would still dominate the majority of touches, even if Snell is relieving him, you know, here and there. So I would still go with Warren, basically, regardless of format.
Thanks to my Playbook app that I have downloaded to my phone, of course. I'm seeing some news here. Jerick McKinnon mispracticed again on Thursday. That's 2 days in a row, folks. So keep that in mind. And my Playbook is something that can help you stay up to date with all of your team, every one of your leagues. You could set all your lineups from one spot with My Playbook. Go to fantasypros.com/myplaybook. Don't forget, you can download the app too, like I did, like Andrew does, like all the cool kids do. And you can sync all of your leagues for free. You got that for free. And of course, go to fantasypros.com/offers to to see how you could upgrade to the premium membership there. But we got all kinds of amazing tools to help get you in the playoffs, to help get you to win. You might have gotten this far, but again, maybe you need that little extra push. My playbook is there to give you the right answers when we're setting these lineups. Kadarius Toney also missed another practice too, in case anybody cares. I don't anymore. I don't care. Kadarius Toney and I have broken up. I'm over it. I'm done. Are you gonna fall for this next year? Are you gonna get back into the Kadarius Toney? You sure?
No, because I didn't even like him that much as a prospect coming out of Florida, and he had that one big game, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I was wrong, and
Yeah, it
it's
was
like,
good.
well, maybe I wasn't. It's like,
but you know it's going to be there. Like if they don't go gung ho with a bunch of other wide receivers this offseason, right? That it's going to be flown out there. It's going to be the very trendy pick.
I'll be in the Sky Moore department with D-Bro.
Me and Derek Brown run that department.
That's where I'll be shopping for my Kansas City Chiefs receivers.
It's a 2-man department. It's going to close. It's right in the corner of JCPenney. It's awesome. All right, let's go to Marlon. Oh, we did Marlon's question, right? Let's go to PR_23. Ayuk or Palmer, wide receiver 2. I'm going Ayuk in this game here against the Dolphins secondary. How about you?
Yep, Brandon Ayuk.
All right, let's go to Carson Ameter. Love the channel. Great name, by the way. Carson Ameter? I don't know, but it's a cool name. Thanks, Carson. Appreciate you. Full PPR, Palmer or Pickens here. I think in the full PPR, as long as Mike Williams is out, I think it's very safe to Josh Palmer this week.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that I have them ranked pretty closely in PPR, but I do think that, look, I feel like we talk about George Pickens a lot on this show, and we talk about he is good, and like he's on the cusp of like this massive game. Like we know what's going to happen because he's seeing the opportunities, he's seeing the air yards, like he's checking off all the boxes, he's making these great catches down the sidelines. It just hasn't come together quite yet, and they're playing the Falcons this week, so I think this is the game where it comes together. So I would go with Pickens.
I'm going with Palmer. I think it's safer. I love Pickens. Pickens will be the guy that I am going to be super in on next year. So if there's keeper leagues out there, floating around, like you could get Pickens in a deal if you could still do those kind of things right now. Pickens is, I think, going to be a star in this league. I really do. He does a lot of those intangible things, and I think the other stuff you can just improve on. He can learn to get better. Joe96, Dameon Pierce or DeAndre Swift, 10-team PPR. Look, I love Pierce's matchup this week. I am right back in. I understand the last 2 weeks have been absolutely miserable. I understand how embarrassingly bad it's been, but the Cleveland Browns run defense is equally embarrassing. I'm playing Dameon Pierce here. And I like Swift this week, but not over Pierce. I can't do it. He's going to touch the football more. What do you think, Andrew? You going to play the upside of Swift?
Yeah, I agree with Dameon Pierce.
And look, I like Swift this week. I liked what I saw out of Swift. I keep coming back to that touchdown. He had 8 targets.
Most targets he's seen
he's got 5 touchdowns this year in the 8 games he's played. And on top of that, guys like Alvin Kamara have 3, and they have them all in 1 game. I mean, for all the hate on DeAndre Swift, he's still getting in the end zone. And he almost got in the end zone another time in that Thanksgiving game, and it got called back. That was a hell of a run. That was not a run from a running back that looked like he was in pain. That was a guy who looked like he was just bruising right there. I think Swift might be on his way back. We shall see what happens this week. Bill Froelich, Standard League, pick 2, Christian Kirk, Etienne, or Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm going with Kirk and Etienne. I'm playing into that Detroit-Jacksonville game. I want all that. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say, but I just don't think Etienne's going to play. So I would go with Kirk and Jeff Wilson.
Okay. I hate Jeff Wilson this week. As much as I loved him last week, I don't like him against San Fran.
Nope.
Don't like it.
You can't play a guy that's not playing. So that's why I'm going.
Can't play a guy. That's good. That's good advice. Can you put that in your Twitter handle? Andrew Erickson, Fantasy Pros. Quote, can't play a guy who's not playing. End quote. There you go. I mean, you could try. Austin Wilhelm. Hey guys, you have helped me so much. Should I drop Patriots defense for the playoffs? Their upcoming schedule is awful. I can pick up the Chiefs, Vikings, Jets, Titans as replacements.
Pick up the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, I believe,
the Chiefs play the Broncos twice.
Yeah, that's good enough right there.
That's really all
I knew
you
they played
need.
the Broncos at least once, but yeah, I forgot it was twice. So yeah, Chiefs it is. Let's go to Trone Force. Although this week you don't want to play the Chiefs necessarily. Just play the Pats this week, pick up the Chiefs, and just stash them on your bench.
But I guess for me, it's like, would you rather just play? I mean, like Chiefs versus Patriots defense this week. It's not like either of them are like super tantalizing options. But the fact that you have the Chiefs for the rest of the season, it's like, well, they both kind of have bad matchups this week, but the Chiefs have such a better schedule next week and the week after that. Then I'll just roll with them this week and then have the more favorable matchup going forward.
You could do it this week. You could, because Buffalo God knows what's going to happen. You'll be at the game. I'll be on the couch, nice and warm.
There may be 0 punts from the Bills again.
Ugh, God,
We'll
that was
see.
so embarrassing. That was such an epic ass kicking. Let's be honest. Like that's what it was. It was and as Patriot fans, we had it coming for a very long time. Like that was one where America at large was just like, yes, good. Take that, New England Patriots. I get it. I totally get it. Understandable. All right, let's go to Trone Force. Who would you play at QB this week? Fields if he plays. Well, duh. If Fields plays, Fields is in. Period. Then after, let's say Fields doesn't play, Mariota, Goff, Tannehill, or Pickett.
Playing Goff.
Agreed.
Love that game.
We're in it. It might be the chalk, but you know what? It feels right.
It's chalk for a reason.
It's chalk. But sometimes it's better to be right than different. Everybody, like, just
you got to score points somehow. Like,
if that game is 16-13, I'm going to be miserable on Sunday. I can just tell you right now. Hamza Badi, also another great name. Which QB to stream this week? Kyler is on a bye. Jimmy G or Derek Carr?
I would go with Derek Carr.
Yeah, I would too. It's
good
close.
Lately. He's got Adams, so it's like
I like Carr too. Dirty South, Trevor Lawrence or Geno Smith this week?
Trevor Lawrence.
I agree. Let's go. Because you feel like that's a game where they're going to just kind of have it in tow. Like, I feel like they're going to just have the Rams.
I mean, I would start Trevor Lawrence over Tua. Like,
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
No doubt.
I don't think that's a hot take. The San Fran's a tough defense. You know, it's funny. We were talking about this last night on stages as well. The Tua run has been magnificent, but some of the matchups Tua has had have been cookies.
Yes.
Cleveland,
this upcoming schedule will be very telling if he's really turned the corner or if it was, oh, wow, he's playing a bunch of really bad teams. And that's
those people chirping about Tua MVP were all like, yeah. Go put your money on Tua for MVP. I'm sitting in my 7-1 Patrick Mahomes still. And I just don't get it. Like, I mean, go beat some good teams and then we'll talk. Well, and look, this could be a really fun game. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping McDaniel has a lot of fun wrinkles and stuff he's going to throw at them.
Cool to see those guys go toe to toe and see like how it's always cool. It's like a master versus the apprentice type of like game setup. So it should be fun to watch.
Let's go to, let's see, Coronation Holiday. I think I got it. All right. Or no. Corianton Holiday. These names are amazing today. I don't know where these names are coming from, but they're fantastic. Do you think that starting Allen Lazard and Christian Watson in the same lineup is a good idea? I don't think it's a great idea because you have a lot of equity into a quarterback that's barely hanging on by the skin of his thumb. But I don't know about this. Look, I get it. If you have no choice, Lazard typically is a safe PPR guy. Christian Watson has the upside there. It's a really good matchup. You saw this defense get torched last week. If Brisker is out again, there's no reason to think that Aaron Rodgers can't torch them. But I'd like to not have to do this if I had options, Erickson.
Yeah, I mean, you're securing a floor because, at least one of these guys is probably going to hit in some way, shape, or form. I know that Eddie Jackson's out too for the Bears, so they really have nobody left. And their team is much looking forward to 2023 at this point. So, yeah, I mean, if I want to start Watson pretty much no matter what. If Lazard is just your next best option, then you start. I wouldn't say just like, oh, don't play him because he plays on the Packers. If he's your next best guy, then you just play him and you at least have a floor that you can feel good about.
Going back real quick to that Geno Smith question too, talking about the Seahawks. I mean, no Aaron Donald, no Matthew Stafford, no Cooper Kupp.
Ken Walker. Let's go.
I mean, it's just, but that's going to be just like, ugh. It's bad. It's a bad sin. This is a
I
bad
mean, the Rams like hung around last week against the Chiefs. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but then Aaron Donald was still there too. He's gone now too. I mean, it's a lot easier to hang around defensively when Aaron Donald's in the middle. You take that guy away, it's a big difference. All right, let's get to Dominic Gazzetti, Italian Stallion at BPE. How you doing, Dominic? What's going on? I need help in the flex. Chris Olave, Miles Sanders, Rashad White in the half PPR. What do you do? What am I going to do?
I'm playing Olave.
I would play Olave as well. I mean, Sanders is safe but underwhelming.
This is a screams Miles Sanders bust week after he went off last week. Like
probably right. Look, the Titans' run defense is good.
They don't give up touchdowns, and
they are good.
That's what Miles Sanders needs more than anyone else, and he doesn't even have the goal line role. Like Jalen Hurts scores touchdowns, Kenneth Gainwell scores touchdowns, Boston Scott scores touchdowns. Like so. Yeah, I'm very concerned. I'm very low on Miles Sanders this week.
I'm very high on Chris Olave, just period. Love
Yes.
Olave. Next year, that'll be another one of my guys. We had a lot of attacking of George Pickens and Chris Olave. A lot of Joe shares going on. Vince has a question. Lazard, Josh Palmer, or B-Rob in the half PPR?
I think B-Rob is fine in the half PPR.
Yeah. What Chris doesn't realize is that he is still on mic, so I can hear him answering his phone. These are the kind of professionals that I'm working with here. Just this is a live broadcast. Do you have any pride whatsoever in what we have to do here? Do you see the struggles sometimes? He gets to 190,000 followers on,
call.
and then he becomes really big. It's probably YouTube calling him. They're probably sending him something for getting to 190,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. That's probably what it was. Big call from the president of YouTube he had to take in the middle of the show. Unbelievable. Let's get to the next question here. John Tuggle. Start Cole Kmet, Foster Moreau, Conklin, or Evan Ingram this week. We back to Kmet?
I think Kmet has the safest floor out of all
still
those
with
guys.
Simeon? If Simeon plays, is it still Kmet?
I mean, I don't think it really matters. He's going to lead the team in targets regardless. I mean, the other guys I think have more touchdown upside. I think Evan Ingram probably has the highest ceiling because he's got a good matchup. It's a game environment we like.
Mhm.
But look, Evan Ingram has games where he just doesn't get the ball at all, and he gets 0 points. But Cole Kmet has by far the safest floor out of all of these guys. So if you just want some points, I go with Kmet. If you want to shoot for the ceiling, in my opinion, that would be Evan Ingram.
Okay. Next up here, we have Bulletproof, Olave or Burks. It's Olave from here, too, for me. As much as I like Burks, I got to play Olave in this one. It's not even close. Yep. Jen Richard, our good friend Jen. Hey, guys. Full PPR, half point per carry. Well, there we go. Pick 2 RBs, please. Swift, B-Rob, Rachaad White. It's a tricky group here. What do you think?
God, this per carry thing is really like throwing me in a tizzy.
Well, the per carry makes me want to put Brian Robinson in, especially because Antonio Gibson did not practice again.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. So I guess, yeah.
So Robinson's winning this.
And
I'm going to play Robinson and Swift.
Yeah, agreed.
And roll the dice here, Jen. I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
let's go to.
Yeah, agree.
No, did you have more? I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I think that Rachaad White is going to be like very disappointing if Fournette's back. Like I think that people are going to project him like, oh, he's going to be the guy. Like, don't worry. And I think that it's going to be like a committee and it's going to be gross. So
okay,
yeah.
Let's get to George Byrer, Jacoby or Juju. I'm playing Juju this week.
I don't know if Jacoby's healthy or not. So Juju.
Yay, Juju. Dave, love the stream, guys. Can I trust ATN in the flex this week? I'm trying to lock up the first round bye. Other options are Rachaad White, Devontae Smith, and Jamal Williams and DPJ. Well, if ATN is out, Jamal Williams is a good pivot. Just take some touchdowns and get the hell out of there. That's I think what I would do. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the other thing with ETN too is like the Jaguars have a bye week next week, so why would they play him in a lost season? So I don't rely on ETN. Like if you have guys playing tonight that you can play over him, play them. So I think that Jamal Williams makes the most sense here, or Devontae Smith.
Next here is Wos God. Start one in the standard league, Singletary or Pacheco.
Pacheco.
Yeah, it's definitely Pacheco, especially because it doesn't look like McKinnon's on his right track there. That now makes a lot more sense too with the signing of Melvin Gordon to the practice squad. I thought was really odd. Like, what a weird.
They're trying to troll the Denver Broncos because they're going to make him good again.
Maybe, but I mean, there's no way Andy Reid is letting Melvin Gordon see the light of day.
Just watch Melvin Gordon fumble away the game for another team.
No, it's not going to happen. But I understand needing live bodies. If Jerick McKinnon wasn't 100%, and McKinnon didn't look good in that game last week too. He dropped a couple balls.
He's been on the injury report a couple times.
Yeah, but definitely Pacheco this week for sure. Cameron Cook, should I start Garrett Wilson this week? Well, it depends on who over, but yes, I think Garrett Wilson's a good start. Yeah. Andrew, you agree? You like him as a top 15 guy. So
yep.
There you go. Geo Gill, full PPR, need 2. Singletary, Miles Sanders, and Muth. Or should I pick up Kenyon Drake and pray for a TD? No, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Those prayers will not be answered. I would play Singletary and Muth, to be honest. I'm not going for the Miles Sanders here. I'm just not doing it. Not against Tennessee.
Man. I
know that's an unpopular opinion, but I like the Muth. Last week wasn't an anomaly. Muth's been good.
Yeah, I guess I'd probably say Singletary and Muth then too.
Muth. Love the Muth. Christopher Tonti. Flex, Jeff Wilson, or Thielen? This is a tricky one, Andrew. What do you think? can feel your brain
It's
working.
it's pretty. I don't like either matchup really.
No, I
but,
know.
I guess when it's tied like this for me, I usually just lean to the running back. So I'll go Jeff Wilson.
I'm going to make the case for Thielen because if indeed the sauce isn't hit a wall and if indeed the sauce does tie up Justin Jefferson, I think Thielen might be available for a little bit more work. And I really don't like this Jeff Wilson matchup against San Fran. I just don't like it. Gary, problem, says Gary. Do I bench Lamb based on the matchup? What? No. You don't bench.
Is he playing primetime Deion Sanders? Did I miss that?
What's happening here? I don't understand. Like, what?
Wait, yeah, what? I'm confused too.
I mean, Stephon Gilmore is still good, but Stephon Gilmore is not unbeatable anymore. I mean, look, you don't sit your best guy. Look, elite wide receivers are better than elite corners typically. If elite corners were any good, they'd still be wide receivers.
Also,
okay?
what's his face got hurt last week too? Kenny Moore.
Kenny Moore did get hurt, but Gilmore is probably gonna be the guy on many more. Anyway, but I think Kenny Moore is going to play this week. I haven't checked out his. So he's starting Adams, Godwin, and Allen, or do I bench one of those guys? No, look.
I would bench probably either Godwin.
You're playing Adams, you're playing Godwin, and you're playing Lamb, I think. Don't you think?
You'd either bench God. I mean, I'm not high on the Bucs
I want all
offense,
those guys in my lineup, to be honest. Like, I think Allen's got a great matchup this week, too. Like, Lamb's matchup isn't good enough to sit him, or tough enough, I should say, to sit him, Gary. I think you play Allen in the flex. I want all those wide receivers in because I think there's enough there with all those guys to be good. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like, these guys should all be starts. So, Gary, get them all in there. All of them. Don't sit Lamb. GA says Hunt or Sutton in the flex in the standard league. Man, people are really trying to make Kareem Hunt happen again this week. It is amazing.
Why? Wait,
because they think it's another everybody. I'm seeing so much Kareem Hunt action here. He is high in the ECR this week than he's been in weeks. Everyone's like, well, Watson's back. It must mean Kareem Hunt's going to touch the football again. And it might. But who the hell knows? I don't know. I got to play Sutton.
Yeah, the only thing with Sutton is that he literally doesn't score.
Thank you. Yes, I know.
So, yeah, I guess I'll take Sutton too, unfortunately. Yeah, he actually has the most receiving yards and the least amount of touchdown. He has the same amount of receiving yards as DK Metcalf, 1 touchdown.
Wow, Russell Wilson's
very
to blame.
sad.
Jeremy Roth, hey fellas, take my chances with Deshaun or stick with Goff this week.
Goff.
I agree. Victor Dioranzio Cruz, should I hold on to P. Ryan just in case Mixon doesn't play? Yes.
Yep, and Mixon can always get re-injured.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, why'd I drop P. Ryan? Just like why you don't drop Alexander Madison. Just keep him on your roster.
Just keep doing it. Tanner Harlow, Slayton or Palmer in the half PPR? I want Palmer. A lot of Palmer questions actually today. So let's break this down here because I understand with Keenan Allen back, people a little afraid of the, Palmer value that he brings. It's a great matchup against Vegas. So you had the huge 8 for 106 and 2 touchdown game where he had 27 points. And last week he only caught 5 balls for 56 against Arizona, which should have been a better game for him. It wasn't. It's a really good matchup against Vegas. As long as Mike Williams isn't back on the field, I think I'm very comfortable throwing Palmer out there. But Palmer is like Gabe Davis. It's going to be 25 points or 8 points. Like, it's not going to be anything really in between where there's a floor. That's kind of my take on Palmer. But Andrew, what's yours?
I would agree with kind of what you're saying there. I like him a lot this week against the Raiders. I know that like the Cardinals are really good against perimeter wide receivers, so I wasn't really surprised to kind of see him have like a lull type of game. Keenan Allen scored the touchdown, but I mean over the last 2 weeks he still has a very strong target share in the offense. He's still seeing a ton of looks. He's running the most routes on the team that throws the ball more than anybody else. So
he's ranked wide receiver 30. So Pickens is ahead of him, then Palmer, Myers, Lazard, Deontay Johnson, Zay Jones, Darius Slayton, Treylon Burks. And I think you play Palmer over Myers, Lazard. Deontay Johnson against Atlanta is tricky. That's a conversation.
Deontay Johnson has done nothing.
I know, but it's tricky. It's a tricky conversation. And because the floor is there. There's no ceiling. But it feels like
this is half PPR too, not full PPR.
Right. Well, in the half, then it's a different conversation there. But like that's where he is. He's in this bottom tier of wide receiver 3, and you hope again until you get some clarity on the Mike. If Mike Williams is a full go at practice tomorrow and he plays, then Palmer goes right down the rankings, I think. CJ Thunder. I think he was an American Gladiator, CJ Thunder. Debo or Burks at wide receiver. It's definitely Debo for me this week, especially with the
Debo.
opportunity for more carries. Brett K. Take a chance on the return to Deshaun Watson this week or Dak against Indianapolis. $750 on the line. I'm going with Dak Wilson. I made him I'm going with Dak Prescott. Dak Wilson. Who's Dak Wilson? I don't know. Dak Prescott for me. It's week 13, folks. It's week 13.
See, I guess I'm not like sharing the same type of optimism that a lot of people are about Deshaun Watson this week.
Me
I
neither.
don't know if I'm wrong.
Me
I
neither.
mean, look, it's no one really knows what's going to happen, but I think that ECR 11 is like super. I mean, I wrote it in one of the chats we talked about. I was like, did we ever at any point rank Jacoby Brissett as a top 15 quarterback? Like
No.
any week? And I get that Watson's obviously a more talented guy, but he literally hasn't played in like
far more.
700 days. And he's in the same
That's
offense
my
that
big
wants
problem,
to
is
run
that
the
he hasn't-
football.
It's a new offense that he hasn't played in, and he hasn't played football in a year and a half. I don't like the phrase range of outcomes. You know that. But there are a lot of range of outcomes here with Deshaun. He could be great. He could be terrible. Houston could show up in this game
but
and
isn't the
actually be
most-
very highly competitive.
Is it the most likely scenario that they give the ball to Nick Chubb 25 times, he rushes for 200 yards against the league's worst run
Yeah,
defense,
and
and
he's
they ease
mediocre.
Deshaun Watson back in? Like, doesn't that make
That's
the most sense
100%
to
what I
me?
would do.
So,
I would limit him to around 20 throws or so and just hand the ball to Nick Chubb all day.
But then I don't get. So how is he ECR 11 then? If that's the most
He's
like,
not.
projectable
He's
outcome.
he's ECR 11 because people have it sounds good. They're talking about no, it does, because they're talking about the talent. They're not talking about the circumstance anymore. They're so hung up on the talent that they're forgetting about the circumstance, and the circumstances are enormous. And there's so many negative pieces of the circumstances. And plus, do you think it's the easiest environment to go back for him? Right?
Yeah, I mean, if you recall, I mean, I know it's a very different situation, but when Tom Brady played in New England, he said that was like the most stressful game that he had prepared for in a long time, and he did not play particularly well in that game, and he's
No.
the greatest of all time. So I think that I'm going to like plant my flag on being against Deshaun Watson this
the
week.
unmerciful
and
booze
try
that
to-
he might, and the signs, I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? This could be a real ugly situation here. I don't know, man.
And I think if there's any way that you could get this Texans defense team to get up for a game, it
this
would
is
be
the
in
one.
this matchup.
Yeah, this is their Super Bowl right here. Hassan, full PPR, Kyron Williams or Brian Robinson. I'm playing Brian Robinson, not looking back here. Rams offense is a zero. Zero.
I like Kyron
Zero.
Williams.
It's bad. Let's go to MD Rayo. Drop Akers for Drake, Warren, or Hubbard. I would drop him for Warren. That's the
Yep.
guy I'm dropping him for.
Agreed.
Talking broccoli. You don't see that one every day. PPR, Rashad White, or healthy Mike Williams.
Mike.
I don't know if a healthy Mike Williams exists. So
Yeah,
let me rephrase the question. Rashad White or the Easter Bunny? Rashad White or my
Josh
hair?
Palmer. Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer. No, look. But seriously, Rashad White or let's say Mike Williams gets in practice today and Friday, and they're like, Mike Williams is good to go.
Yeah.
Would you play
If
Mike
Mike Williams plays, I'm going to play him. He's too
I
good,
would agree.
in my opinion.
All right, I can try my best here. Apologies in advance. Abaraj Shrivastava. I think I got it right. I think I did. Need help, please. I tried real hard. Olave, Keenan, or McKenzie. Pick two, please.
Olave and Keenan.
Okay. Next year, Dorkman. Good day, gents. Thanks for all you do. Please pick two running backs and a flex and a half PPR. Barkley, Singletary, Zeke, and Pollard. I'm playing Barkley and the Cowboys. How about you?
Yep, agreed.
How about them Cowboys? D-Ted, I should say. Hey, guys, Schultz or Njoku with Watson back? Well, Njoku's hurt.
Yeah, I'm playing Schultz.
So you got to play Schultz. Solomon Grundy, Olave, Pittman, or Pickens need two. Who's the odd man out?
Pittman.
Agreed. Alex, what's up, guys? Need a big dub this week. Ayuk or Garrett Wilson in the PPR?
Garrett Wilson.
I wish I shared your faith. I love Garrett Wilson, but I can't do it. I'm playing Ayuk. Ayuk's been so good for the last 6 weeks.
They're playing the Vikings.
I understand. It's still
Mac
Mike
Jones threw for almost 400 yards against the Vikings.
White. And Mac Jones is a real quarterback. Mike White is a fun story. When Mike White puts up 150 this week, and it's embarrassing and bad again. Just saying, like, That's not impossible. Next up here, Michael Foley. Why is everyone so high on Garrett Wilson? I know, Michael. Why is everyone so high on Garrett Wilson, more, etc., but not as high on Mike White? Look, Mike White is an improvement on Zach Wilson. Doesn't make Mike White great. He was playing against the Bears in a situation where they didn't have their starting quarterback. They had no more Roman Quinn, no more Roquan Smith, no Jaquan Brisker. It was like open season, and I think Mike White is better than Zach Wilson. But Zach Wilson, like trying to get this in the shot. Zach Wilson here, Mike White here. Like it's marginally better. But like to go on the road to Minnesota, like I just don't think we're giving Minnesota enough credit. You're not wrong. The Minnesota defense has problems. I just can't get there. Now go ahead and tell everybody why the Jets are so good.
I mean, they have weapons, and Mike White from a clean pocket last week was excellent, and that's what the Vikings failed to do against Mac Jones. He was not pressured at all in that game, which is why he was able to slice and dice the secondary because it's horrible. So I look. You're also not giving credit to Mike White. They were playing in the rain. Now he's playing in the dome. Come on, easy
Maybe
money.
He likes the rain.
No,
You know, maybe like Milli Vanilli liked the rain.
No.
Do you remember that song? You're too young for that song.
I have
the
no
Milli
idea what
Vanilli.
you're talking. No idea.
You don't blame it on the rain? You don't blame it on the rain? Chris knows blame it on the rain. That's one of his big workout songs. He likes to play that when he's on the bike. He likes to play Milli Vanilli. Big fan. Huge fan. Connor McDonald, Kamara, White, or Sanders? This is a tough one. I guess you play Alvin Kamara and you hope for the best.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say here. That's another guy too that, I don't care what he's on pace for. Like the productivity just hasn't been there.
This
anymore.
might be like this actually again leads well into this next question here about Kamara in the playoffs. He has a really good playoff schedule, but like this could be like the swan song for Kamara because
it is.
He has really been not efficient this year whatsoever. So
Nope.
I think that we're definitely starting to see his the wear and tear getting older.
6 years in the league. Same thing we saw with Zeke. It's just
and then you have the suspension next year
Mhm.
coming, and then after that, I think it's going to be he's kind of off the fantasy.
See you later, Alvin.
radar.
See ya. Bye. It's been fun. It's been real. Watch out on the way out. Make sure you don't punch anybody. Let's get to Axe. Need help, guys. Half PPR, 12 men, 3 wide receivers. Start Lockett, Thielen, Juju, Shark, Boyd, and Corey Davis. Lockett is in. Yes.
Yeah, Lockett, Juju, and Boyd for me.
Agreed. There you go. That's the right answers. Okay, let's go one more here. Tumek. Hi, guys. Would you start Mostert or Hasty?
Hasty.
Agreed. There you have it, everybody. Don't forget to like the stream on the way out. Don't forget to download My Playbook or go to fantasypros.com/myplaybook. But it's free. Sync your leagues, set your lineups, get the advice, get the help you need to get into the playoffs and dominate and crush everyone and hold that trophy at the end. Don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to YouTube channel here at Fantasy Pros. Click that bell till it goes ding for notifications, and you might win a Justin Jefferson jersey. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For my good pal, Andrew Erickson, for Justin Jefferson, for Chris, who's taking phone calls from important people at YouTube and all the other folks that are coming around. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us. I want to thank you also 190K. That's all you. You guys did that. That's fantastic. Let's keep going. Let's hit 200 sometime soon. We'll throw a big party. We'll have hats. We'll have cocktails. It'll be a good time. I think we do that. I think if we hit 200, we should have a celebration party on here. And we'll do a show where we have a couple cocktails. That will be a great show. I can tell you that right now. That'll do it for us in the meantime, though. But of course, the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Fantasy Pros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.